I came home to a screaming baby, an empty house, and ring footage of my husband kissing another woman. He called her the wife, so I called a lawyer. And that's when his double life started to unravel. My name is Elise. I'm 37, a mom of 3, and until recently, I thought I was married to a decent man. 19 years. That's how long I poured my heart into this marriage. Through fertility treatments, miscarriages, and heartbreak. He held my hand through hospital visits, kissed my forehead after I cried over yet another negative test, and promised me we'd get through it all. And we did. We finally did. Our first daughter, Lila, was a miracle. Then came Tyler, our rainbow baby. And just 4 months ago, we welcomed Sophie, our long-awaited newborn. Life wasn't easy, but it was ours. Messy, loud, and beautiful. So, imagine my confusion. No, my absolute soul-crushing devastation. When I came home one evening and found our house in complete chaos. Sophie was screaming like her lungs were about to give out. Tyler was playing with spit, actual spit, on the floor. And Lila, just 13 years old, was sobbing in the corner, trying and failing to soothe her baby sister. My husband? Nowhere. His car was gone. No note, no text, just gone. Let me rewind. Earlier that day, I finally took a break. Just one little me day. I told him I was going out with my mom and sister for lunch, maybe a little shopping and nails. He said he'd watch the kids. He said he'd be fine. I left at 1 p.m. At 5:50 p.m., our Ring camera pinged me. I checked the feed and saw someone at the front door. I called him. He sounded casual, said he was just grabbing pizza. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? I got stuck in traffic and didn't make it home until 8. That's when I walked in and discovered the nuclear meltdown unfolding in my living room. My teenage daughter had been left alone, with a toddler and a newborn. No warning, no preparation, no phone call. My heart shattered when she looked up at me with tear-streaked cheeks and whispered, "I didn't know what to do, Mom. I tried. I picked up Sophie, changed her diaper, fed her, and rocked her until her sobs slowed into hiccups. Then I wrapped Lila in a blanket, sat beside her, and just held her. She clung to me like she had when she was 5 and thought thunder could eat you. And then, at 10 p.m., like nothing had happened, my husband strolled in, slightly drunk, not a care in the world. Had a great time with the wife?" he slurred, fumbling with his belt and laughing. "Excuse me? The wife? As in me?" I stared at him, blinking. "What did you just say?" He dropped his pants on the floor and grinned like a fool. I said, "Had a great time with the wife." "I'm right here," I snapped. "Where were you?" He looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Don't be so dramatic. You know I was getting food." My jaw could have cracked tile. He tried to gaslight me into believing I was the crazy one, that I was making a big deal over nothing, that Lila was fine, that I should be grateful he let me have a day off. Let me? Oh hell no. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in the nursery with Sophie and watched her tiny chest rise and fall. This wasn't just a parenting fail. This was a betrayal. And something didn't add up. Who the hell was this wife he was out with? I started to wonder if it wasn't just irresponsibility. Maybe it was something worse. And I was about to find out. The next morning, I woke up before the kids. Correction. I didn't sleep. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, playing his stupid drunk words on a loop. Had a great time with the wife. The same man who had watched me bleed and sob through every miscarriage had now left our 3 kids, including a colicky 4-month-old, with a terrified teenager so he could go play house with someone else. My hands were shaking. Not from sadness. Not anymore. From rage. I tiptoed out of the nursery, shut the door behind me, and pulled up the Ring footage on my laptop. Timestamp. 5:50 p.m. My husband walked out the front door. Jeans, hoodie, duffel bag. Duffel bag? He paused, turned, spoke into the camera, slurring slightly. "Be back in a bit, princess. Don't burn the house down." My blood boiled. Who the hell was he talking to? Lila? Our daughter? Like she was some kind of babysitter? I scrolled forward. 6:30 p.m. A car pulled into the driveway. Not ours. He walked out with a woman. Blonde. Slim. Early 30s. Wearing a sundress in October. She had the nerve to lean against his chest like they were on vacation. And then, this is the part I'll never forget. He kissed her forehead. Forehead. The kind of kiss you give someone you cherish. Someone you protect. I paused the video and stared at the screen for so long that my eyes blurred. This wasn't just a fling. This was emotional infidelity. Domestic double life. Whatever you want to call it. He had a second wife. I don't know how long I sat there. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. Something inside me just went quiet. Like my brain hit the emergency brake and said, all right, let's do this. I made a pot of coffee. Fed the baby. Got the kids dressed. All while he slept upstairs like the lying sack of laundry he is. At 10 a.m. I woke him up. Calmly. Hey, I said. Need to talk. He grunted and rubbed his eyes. Later. I'm dead. No, I said. Now. He finally dragged himself out of bed and into the kitchen where I had the laptop open. Sit. He looked confused. Then saw the Ring video paused on his lovebird moment. And froze. Elise, I can explain. Good, I said. Because this looks like a date. On the same night, you left our kids alone to scream and cry and fall apart. He rubbed his face. It's not what you think. That's just Rachel. She's going through a divorce and needed someone to talk to. I tilted my head. And that's why you packed an overnight bag? He stammered. We had dinner. Wine. She got emotional. And your pants fell off? No. Elise. I didn't sleep with her. I swear. I laughed. Not out of humor, out of sheer disbelief. You kissed her. You left your children. You lied. You made our daughter parent your damn responsibilities. And now you're gaslighting me with some divorce sympathy story. He stood. You're blowing this out of proportion. That did it. Get out, I said. Now. He scoffed. What, you're kicking me out over a misunderstanding? I stepped closer, dead in his eyes. I'm kicking you out over neglect. Over lies. Over betrayal. You don't get to redefine my pain. He stormed off. Said I was crazy. Slammed the door. But this time? I had receipts. And I was done being the one who held this family together with duct tape while he played fantasy husband with Rachel the divorcee. I didn't cry until he was gone. Then I let it out. Silent, raw, into a kitchen towel. Because I didn't want the kids to hear. Because they deserved strength. And now? I was ready to give it to them. I didn't wait for the weekend. Didn't wait for lawyers. Or counseling. Or whatever else people suggest when they still believe in working things out. I wanted answers. From her. Rachel. The just a friend who got forehead kisses while my newborn screamed into Lila's arms. So I did what any mother with a broken heart and a full diaper bag would do. I strapped Sophie into her car seat, grabbed my binder of evidence. Yes, I made a binder and drove straight to Rachel's workplace. She's a manager at some fancy wellness spa 2 towns over. Of course, she is. The kind of place with soft jazz playing in the lobby and cucumber water nobody drinks. I walked in with Sophie on my hip, tired eyes, no makeup, and the kind of energy that makes receptionists panic. Hi, I said sweetly. I'm here to see Rachel M. The receptionist blinked. Do you have an appointment? No, I said. But her boyfriend left his children alone to spend the night with her, so I think she'll want to hear what I have to say. The poor girl's face drained of color. One moment. 5 minutes later, Rachel appeared. Confident. Tight ponytail. Lip gloss. Zero shame. Can I help you? She said like I was there to order a seaweed wrap. I handed her a manila envelope. Ring footage. Of you and my husband. The same night he told me he was getting pizza. Her expression didn't crack at first. Just confusion. Then she opened the envelope. Photo. After photo. Of her. Hugging him. Kissing him. Walking into my home like she owned it. I leaned in. He left 3 children alone. Including this baby. To be with you. And now I'm giving you one chance, just one, to tell me the truth. Her voice dropped. I didn't know he was married. I laughed. Really? Because the wedding ring didn't raise a flag? The fact he left from a house with toys in the yard. Rachel finally cracked. He told me he was separated. That you were living apart. That he only stayed there to help with the kids. I shook my head. You're lying. Or you're stupid. Either way, you're done. She tried to save face. Look, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. But you did, I snapped. And now your name is part of the story my children will have to live with. She turned defensive. Well, maybe if you kept him happy. I smiled. That kind of smile. The one people see before storms hit. I did keep him happy. I gave him children. A home. Loyalty. And you gave him a place to escape accountability. I left without another word. Outside, I kissed Sophie's head. Let's go make this legal, baby girl. First stop, a lawyer. And oh, did I come prepared? I showed up with timelines. Footage. Screenshots. Phone logs. The binder of betrayal is tabbed and color-coded. The attorney, Ms. Drake, flipped through it, eyebrows raised. Most women don't come in this ready. I smiled. I've been through labor. 3 times. I don't play soft. She asked me what I wanted. Full custody. I want him nowhere near these kids without supervision. And I want to hit him where it hurts. His wallet, she asked. No. His image. He cares more about looking like Father of the Year than actually being one. Miss Drake grinned. We can work with that. We started drafting papers that afternoon. And I started rebuilding not just my life, but my story. Because I wasn't going to be the sad wife anymore. I was going to be the one they warned him about. Divorce day. I didn't think it would feel this good. But there I was dressed in my cleanest black blazer, hair pulled back, cheeks flushed from adrenaline, handing over the final signed documents to Ms. Drake, my attorney, like they were holy scripts. Full custody petition? Filed. Supervised visitation demand? Filed. Request for an emergency hearing based on child neglect? Oh yes, filed with evidence. And my soon-to-be ex? Clueless. Still crashing on his buddy's couch and texting me like we were on a trial separation. Can we talk? I miss the kids. Let's not make this ugly. Oh, sweetheart. That ship not only sailed, it lit itself on fire and sank. I didn't respond. Instead, I did something better. I served him at work. See, he works at a bank. A shiny, corporate place where appearances are everything. And I had just enough petty left in the tank to ensure he got the envelope right at the tail end of his Monday morning department meeting. A process server with attitude walked into that glass fishbowl conference room, dropped a thick white envelope on the table in front of him, and said loud enough for the back row to hear. Mr. Taylor? You've been served. Silence. His face? A shade of red is usually reserved for fire alarms. My phone lit up 20 minutes later. You did not just humiliate me at my job. I didn't reply. Instead, I posted a quote on my Facebook. You don't destroy a family and expect the flames to whisper. People noticed. Friends. Family. His coworkers' wives. Suddenly, my inbox filled with support. I always thought something was off about him. You're so strong. Proud of you. Need help moving anything? I've got boxes. Even my sister, who once said I over-romanticized motherhood, showed up with cupcakes and wine. Welcome to Team Burn the Bridge, she said, popping a bottle of rose. The best part? Rachel blocked me. Guess she didn't enjoy the spotlight anymore. But I wasn't done. Because there was still one thing left he hadn't lost: public perception. And if there's one thing I've learned about narcissists, it's this: they don't crumble when you leave. They crumble when everyone finds out why you left. I contacted a local parenting blog. Anonymously at first. Shared my story. Left out names, but included the receipts, screenshots, ring cam timestamps, and even a short clip. They published it as a guest article: Mom of 3 discovers husband's secret second wife thanks to her doorbell camera. It blew up. Within 24 hours, it was on Reddit. Shared in Facebook groups. Even Twitter got a hold of it. And someone eventually figured out who it was. Not because of me. Because he couldn't stay quiet. He started posting vague quotes. People believe whatever fits their narrative. You only hear one side. The truth always comes out. Oh, the irony. The only thing that came out was his LinkedIn profile, flooded with side eyes and removed connections. And I was thriving. Not out of revenge. Out of relief. I was free. Legally. Emotionally. Digitally. My kids? Safe. My friends? Rallying. My name? Cleared. All because I stopped waiting for apologies and started serving consequences. The first custody hearing was scheduled for a Tuesday. Gray sky. Rainy windshield. Appropriate, honestly. I showed up in navy blue, calm, serious, not here to play. My attorney, Ms. Drake, had her game face on. Her briefcase was practically glowing from how airtight our case was. He walked in looking like he hadn't slept in a week. Disheveled suit. Cheap cologne. Shaky hands. And Rachel? Nowhere to be seen. Guess the courtroom wasn't spa-friendly. The judge was an older woman with a no-nonsense haircut and the emotional range of drywall. Perfect. I didn't want sympathy. I wanted justice. He tried to charm her, called me the mother of my children like it was some ancient title. Ms. Drake went first. She laid it out. The ring footage. The timestamps. The statement from our pediatrician noted Sophie's colic. Lila's written account of being left alone with 2 younger siblings. The fact that I had already filed for therapy sessions for all 3 kids. He stammered something about needing a break, how mental health struggles caused his behavior, and that he didn't abandon anyone. Then he had the nerve to say we were co-parenting. She just didn't know it. Even the judge's eyebrow twitched at that one. She asked him, Mr. Taylor, are you aware that a 13-year-old is not a legal guardian? His silence said everything. I got the floor next. I kept it simple. I loved him. I trusted him. And he walked out. Not just on me, but on 3 children who needed him. I held up a picture of Lila with Sophie that night. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Baby spit on her shirt. This is who he left behind. I won't let it happen again. The judge nodded, took a deep breath, and ruled. Temporary full custody to me. Supervised visitation for him at a county center. Mandatory parenting classes. A psychological evaluation. He looked like someone had kicked him in the teeth. Because for once, actions had consequences. And I wasn't done making sure they stuck. At home, the kids felt it. Sophie was too young to understand, but Lila and Tyler were different. Tyler started asking where Daddy went. Lila? She wouldn't even say his name. One night, I found her on the porch hugging her knees. Is it my fault? She whispered. Did I mess up? I sat beside her and pulled her close. No, baby. None of this is on you. He made choices. Adult choices. And I'm going to fix what I can. We cried together. And I promised her, not just with words but with action, that no one would ever leave her holding the pieces again. I signed us all up for therapy. Individual and group. A real family reset. And slowly, I started watching my kids find their feet again. Tyler laughed more. Lila slept through the night. Even Sophie stopped crying for hours on end as she could finally breathe in peace. And me? I started smiling without guilt. Because for the first time in forever, we weren't surviving. We were living. It was a quiet Sunday morning. Pancakes were on the stove. Sophie was giggling in her high chair, flinging banana slices like confetti. Tyler was building a Lego tower taller than his own ambitions, and Lila was lounging on the couch with a book and her new cat, Pepper. We were starting to feel normal. Then came the knock. Not a package. Not a neighbor. Him. Standing on my porch with a bouquet of gas station roses and a look he probably practiced in the mirror for 15 minutes. I opened the door halfway. Hey, he said, trying to flash his old, I'm still charming, right? Smile. I stared. Silent. He extended the flowers. For you. Thought we could talk. I blinked once. Then reached behind the door and handed him an envelope. He blinked back. What's this? Court-ordered supervised visitation schedule, I said. And a reminder you can't just show up here unannounced. His smile cracked. Come on, Elise. I'm trying. No, I said, you're performing. And the show's cancelled. He looked past me into the living room. I missed them. I stepped in front of the doorway. They miss safety. And stability. Which you traded for a weekend ego boost and a woman who's now ghosting you, I assume. Silence. He clenched the flowers tighter. I made a mistake. No, I corrected, you made a series of conscious, selfish, gaslighting decisions that nuked this family. And now you're not a husband. You're a guest with rules. He stared. Like he didn't recognize the woman standing in front of him. Good. That woman was gone. I shut the door. Locked it. And tossed the flowers straight into the compost bin. That evening, Lila asked what he wanted. To pretend nothing happened, I said. She nodded. Figures. And just like that, we moved on. Because healing isn't always a grand gesture. Sometimes it's pancakes. Cats. Quiet Sundays. Sometimes it's knowing your doorbell doesn't have to warn you anymore. Sometimes it's telling your friends you're fine and meaning it. I started writing again. Nothing fancy, just journaling. Lists. Dreams. I started putting away money too. Little by little. Emergency fund first, then new life fund. I opened an Etsy store. My hobby, handmade baby blankets, turned into a side income. I even got invited to speak on a parenting podcast. Topic? How to leave a man who left you first. The irony wasn't lost on me. But here's the thing. I wasn't just surviving him anymore. I was outgrowing him. The divorce was finalized on a Thursday. There were no violins. No slow claps. Just a judge, a signature, and a thick manila envelope labeled Decree of Dissolution. 19 years together. Ended in 26 minutes. I walked out of the courthouse into the autumn sun with no ring, no regret, and no doubt. He didn't show up. His lawyer sent in a weak little packet of excuses, work conflict, traffic, unexpected illness. Coward. I mailed him his copy with a sticky note, you're officially free. So am I. Do better. And just like that. I wasn't his wife anymore. But I was still Elise. And Elise had things to do. First, I threw a divorce party. Just a little one. My sister, my coworkers, some old friends who'd come back into my life when they heard the story. We drank wine. We made a cake that said no longer AMRS, in blood red frosting. We played breakup bingo. Gaslighting, check. Cheated, check. Left with kids, triple check. At midnight, I burned an old hoodie of his in a backyard fire pit. Lila tossed in the ashes of a Father's Day card. Closure, she said. And I hugged her like my life depended on it. The Etsy shop grew. The podcast appearance turned into a full interview. Then another. Then a guest blog series. Then an invite to speak at a local women's retreat. They called me the Ring Kim Warrior. And I wore that title like armor. Because for every woman still stuck in a gaslit relationship, I wanted to be proof that escape was possible. That thriving was possible. That starting over wasn't failure, it was freedom. And maybe, just maybe, I'd finally met someone worth my time. A fellow single parent from Tyler's school. Kind eyes. Steady voice. Great with kids. We had coffee once. Then again. Then a real date. No expectations. No pressure. Just laughter. And it hit me, this is what peace sounds like. Not silence. Laughter. To anyone listening, anyone hurting, anyone staring at a Ring camera wondering if what they're seeing is real. Believe your eyes. Believe your gut. No one who loves you disappears on their kids. No one who values you lies about who you are and what you built. You don't owe your sanity to someone who treats your loyalty like wallpaper. If they make you feel small, burn the bridge. If they gaslight your grief, block their number. If they think you'll break under pressure, prove them right. Break. Shatter. Then rebuild something stronger than they ever imagined. Something with locks. And cameras. And a damn army of women standing behind you. Because the truth? I didn't just survive him. I outgrew him. And I didn't lose a husband. I lost dead weight. Here's my question to you guys: have you ever ignored a gut feeling that turned out to be right? What would you do if your partner kissed someone else and called her the wife while your baby screamed alone at home? Drop it in the comments. Because someone out there needs to know they're not crazy, they're waking up. Hope you enjoyed this story as much as I do. Help this small channel grow by hitting that like button, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. Every bit of support means the world. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.